What's up YouTube, Capital G here, as promised, breaking down the brand new Nordic cards that recently got revealed. These were shown off on the live stream of the 200th YCS by Jerome McHale and R&D, and actually they're pretty good cards. We already knew that we were getting a Link monster coming out of the Legendary Hero decks, but we had no idea that we were actually going to be getting a TCG exclusive Nordic effect monster. This is going to be released in Soul Fusion, and it's really interesting because Jerome said that this new effect monster was specifically made to work in conjunction with the Link monster. So you always want to see that because it means that the card is going to a lot of times be practical, and this new Nordic Link monster is so easy to summon. It's actually ridiculous. So let's go ahead and start with the Link monster. This is Golveg, the Nordic Ascendant. I probably mispronounced that. Is that German or something like that? Anyways, it's a Link 1 light fairy type monster, 800 attack, and its Link arrow points to the bottom left. Link 1, obviously it's going to be pretty easy to make because it just requires one level 5 or lower Nordic monster. That's actually one of the best parts about this card. The fact is 90% of the Nordic archetype can just instantly summon this card. I definitely like that. The fact is you can take your worst Nordic monster in your hand, you normal summon it, boom, you instantly go into a Link monster. That's definitely easy to summon. The effect reads, if this card is Link summoned, you can banish up to 3 cards from your hand and or field, and if you do, special summon that many Nordic monsters from your deck in defense position. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters except Acer monsters, nor normal summon / set any monsters. That effect is a hard once per turn. While this card points to an Acer monster, your opponent cannot target that monster with card effects. Also, monsters your opponent controls cannot attack this card with attacks. Okay, so honestly, I'm not really sure that there's anything about this card that's actually bad. I think almost every single aspect of this card is fantastic. Number one, it does allow you to use dead cards in your hand, and it allows you to use cards on your field, which is just absolutely fantastic to summon monsters from your deck, your Nordic monsters. By the way, that effect is actually not a cost. I remember Jerome McHale, when he was talking about this card, he specifically said that they wanted it not to be a cost because we all know if it was a cost and you banish 3 cards out of your hand and your opponent used Ash Blossom, it'd basically be GG no re at that point. Or if your opponent used something like Impermanence, I think that they did that specifically because they didn't want this card being fucked by Ash Blossom, but that's really good. You basically get to wait, see if your opponent has any type of responses. I just like the fact that I can use anything that I control, and you can actually banish herself. So this is an easy way for you to be able to drop your Acers. And if you don't know what the Acers are the Synchro monsters, Thor, Loki, and which one am I missing? Odin. Those are like the really big guys. So number one, just about every monster in the archetype can go into this. Number two, this card can summon up to 3 Nordic monsters from your deck, and you can use dead cards in your hand or on your field. And then number 3, you also get one of the things that I think that the Acer gods definitely need. They need protection from targeting the Nordic or the Nordic Synchro monsters. I think that they're still fairly decent by today's standards. They're not like fantastic or anything, but right now it does feel like every deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of has an easy out. And I'm not even talking about like Kaijus. Like if you play against Ultra guys, they'll just Sequidius your Thor, and then you're like, ah, fuck, I can't really, I just spent all of this resources on a level 10 Synchro, but it's really nice because now you have protection from targeting, and then you also get protection from battle with this 800 attack Link monster. So I don't really see anything bad with this card, to be honest, and the fact that it banishes, I don't know, maybe there's an opportunity for you to mix in other archetypes. We know that Thunder Dragons just love being banished. I mean, you don't have to actually banish Nordic cards. You can banish any card you control or any card in your hand. That leaves the possibility up for you to be able to splash in multiple engines and other decks and stuff like that into Nordics. I think the only real downside about Golveg, and I don't even really think that it's her fault, is the fact that as far as I can tell, like none of the Nordic monsters get their effects when they're special summon. All of them get their effects, like the ones that do have trigger effects, they all get it when normal summon. So when you get those Nordic monsters on the field, really the only thing that you're going to be doing with them is actually synchro summoning for your Acer gods. You're not going to be attacking with them because they're in defense mode, and you're not really going to be getting any type of bonus effects. But other than that, I think that the card is near perfect for the archetype. Next up, we have the world premiere Alvis of the Nordic Alfar. This is the TCG exclusive card coming out of Soul Fusion. It is a level 4 Dark Spellcaster monster, 1500 attack, 1000 defense. The effect reads, if only this card is banished by the effect of a Nordic Link monster, you can send to the graveyard 1 Nordic monster you control and 2 Nordic monsters from your deck whose total level equal 10. Then special summon 1 Acer monster from your extra deck. It continues on to say, if an Acer monster or monsters in your possession is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, that also includes battle. They should have put battle on the card, but they didn't for some reason. You can banish this card from your graveyard. That's the cost. Special summon 1 Acer monster from your extra deck with a different name from cards in your graveyard. You can only use this effect of Alvis of the Nordic Alfar once per duel. So that is not a hard once per turn effect. That is actually a hard once per duel effect. And honestly, I think it kind of needs to be. That effect is absolutely bonkers. Basically, let's just say that, I don't know, you have like a Thor on the field and your Thor gets Mirror Force or something like that. Basically, you can banish this card from your graveyard and boom, you can just tag straight into Loki, or you can tag straight into like Odin and basically just keep rocking with your monster. And it's really cool because the Nordic synchro monsters themselves, when they're destroyed by card effect or battle, they can special summon themselves back from the graveyard. So in that case, you're kind of just going +1 because there's a very good chance that your first Acer God is going to special summon itself back from the graveyard anyways. You're just kind of getting a second one for free, and you didn't even have to go through the trouble of synchro summoning it. Now I look at the first effect, and obviously, it was made for the Link monster. It's kind of just a cheeky way of synchro summoning, and I definitely like that because basically, if you're using the Link monster and you're low on resources, this is kind of another way to essentially kind of synchro summon, even though it's not technically synchro summoning. I think the ideal situation would be if you actually summon the Link monster to banish your Alvis from your hand, give up maybe another Nordic monster that you have on your field, and then go ahead and banish the other monsters from your deck, their levels equaling 10. I love it because you don't even have to worry about like using tuners or non-tuners or anything like that. You can just use whatever the hell you want. As long as those levels count up to 10, you're basically good. And then boom, out comes your Nordic synchro monster, and you do have a level of protection if you happen to summon this card from the Nordic Link monster, because once it's in the graveyard, it gives a little bit of protection for your Nordic synchros, because again, if your opponent decides to kill them, then you're basically just going to be able to get a second Nordic synchro monster from your extra deck for free, unless your opponent negates this effect. I honestly think that these are two really good cards, and I think that the Link monster does solve the problem of Nordic synchro monsters being targeted, because that is the bane of their existence. I kind of feel like right now in Yu-Gi-Oh, every deck has, you know, something like a Sequidius or a Trigate Wizard that can just banish or bounce the Nordic synchro monsters without having to destroy them. But if you can't target them, then it's actually pretty decent, and they're going to be a lot more difficult to kill. And I feel like these are just very practical cards. I would like to see maybe like a counter trap for Nordics, something that gives them even more protection, because I kind of feel like getting that synchro monster on field should definitely be a viable win condition. As of right now, the protection you get from the Link is good, but it's not quite enough. You know what I really wish? I wish that there was some way to make the Acer synchro monsters quick effects. Well, I know Loki is technically already, but imagine if Thor and Odin were quick effects. Oh my goodness, dude. Like, those cards would 100% like still, they would not be power creeped if they were actually quick effects, especially Thor. Thor would basically be Abyss Gaios at that point. Abyss Gaios is still a really good card that can stun your opponent during their turn. I just really wish that there was a monster, maybe like a Vendread type of thing, where if you synchro using this cards, you know, your Nordic synchro monsters become like quick effects. Like, that would be super good for Thor and for Odin especially. But whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. And yes, I have not forgot, I am still going to do that Neospatian video about why Konami is actually pushing them. I'm gonna put that video out probably on Sunday, so definitely look out for that.